Disney's live-action Snow White has officially flopped, and the internet is having a field day. Disney's live-action Snow White has officially bombed at the box office, and critics, especially conservative ones, are taking a victory lap. The common sentiment across social media? We told you so. And honestly, they have a point. Disney poured a staggering $250 million into this project, but its domestic opening weekend barely reached $43 million, falling far short of even the modest expectations. For comparison, The Little Mermaid brought in nearly $100 million on its debut, and Cinderella, released a decade ago, opened with over $67 million. By any standard, this is a full-blown disaster. But no one who's been paying attention is shocked. The red flags were waving long before this film ever hit theaters. The backlash began with casting. From the moment Rachel Zegler, best known for West Side Story, was cast as Snow White, the internet erupted. Many fans objected to the casting of a Latina actress for a character whose name literally refers to her pale complexion, skin as white as snow. For traditionalists, this wasn't just artistic license. It was rewriting the core identity of a classic fairy tale. Zegler wasn't silent on the matter. In a now-deleted post, she responded, "Yes, I am Snow White. No, I am not bleaching my skin for the role." She later called her critics losers obsessed with maintaining the bloodline purity of a cartoon princess, according to the Wall Street Journal. Despite the uproar, Zegler remained enthusiastic. In a 2022 Variety interview with Andrew Garfield, she emphasized the importance of representation. "At the end of the day, I get to be a Latina princess." But as time went on, her comments shifted from celebratory to confrontational. "We didn't do that." This time, Zegler made headlines again when she openly criticized the 1937 animated original. At Disney's D23 Expo, she described the classic film's romance as outdated, even calling the prince a guy who literally stalks her. Her message was clear. This Snow White would not be a love story. Even though Disney cast Andrew Burnap as the male lead, Zegler doubled down, saying the film wasn't about romance at all, and she considered that a good thing. While some audiences welcomed this modern, independent version of Snow White, others felt betrayed. Their question: if Disney wanted to tell a completely different story, why remake this one at all? Zegler's words come back to haunt the film. Things only got worse when an old interview resurfaced where Zegler admitted she was terrified of Snow White as a kid. "I watched it once and never picked it up again," she said, adding that she only revisited it to prepare for the role. She then dismissed the original as extremely dated in its portrayal of women. In another moment that sparked backlash, Zegler posted a stylized photo resembling Adriana Caselotti, the original voice of Snow White. What looked like a tribute quickly backfired, with some fans accusing her of disrespecting the legacy of the original. By now, it didn't seem to matter what she said. Every comment only added fuel to the fire. The dwarf controversy. Then came another bombshell. Disney had decided not to cast actors with dwarfism for the roles of the seven dwarfs. Peter Dinklage, known for Game of Thrones, blasted Disney for what he called selective progressiveness. "You're progressive in one way, but then you're still making that backward story about seven dwarves living in a cave," he said on Mark Maron's WTF podcast. Other actors, like Dylan Postal, pointed out that the issue wasn't just about stereotypes. It was about taking roles away from a marginalized group in an industry where they already struggle to find work. Disney quickly went into PR mode, promising to reevaluate the portrayal of the dwarfs and consult with members of the dwarfism community. But when leaked photos from the set surfaced, showing a diverse group of full-sized actors, only one of whom had dwarfism, the backlash reignited. Later, it was revealed that Disney planned to use CGI for the dwarfs. That decision pleased no one and raised more questions than it answered. A promotion strategy, full of red flags. When premiere time came around, there was no glitzy Hollywood event. Instead, Rachel Zegler promoted the film from a castle in Spain, singing a new track titled "Waiting on a Wish." Meanwhile, co-star Gal Gadot appeared separately at Disneyland. The lack of a joint promotional effort fueled speculation that Disney was trying to avoid media questions about the ongoing controversies. It was a quiet rollout for a film that had become anything but quiet. What went wrong? Ultimately, audiences didn't show up. The poor box office performance speaks volumes about the disconnect between Disney's creative vision and what audiences actually want. This fiasco is part of a larger identity crisis in Hollywood. Studios are under pressure to modernize their content and increase representation. But doing so with legacy IPs is a risky game. People don't just watch Disney classics, they grow up with them. Any change to these stories is bound to be polarizing. The bigger picture Snow White isn't the first live-action Disney remake to spark backlash, and it won't be the last. From The Little Mermaid to Beauty and the Beast, every adaptation faces the same question. How much should change, and how much should stay the same? Some remakes have succeeded despite controversy. Others, like Snow White, have crashed hard. The key difference is balance, nostalgia versus innovation. Snow White failed to strike that balance, and Disney paid the price. The studio now faces a dilemma. These remakes are a cornerstone of its strategy in an uncertain box office market. But if audiences continue rejecting reboots that stray too far from the originals, that strategy might not be sustainable. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. This controversy isn't just about Snow White. It's about how we tell stories in a changing world. It's about who gets to be seen, what gets to be updated, and whether beloved childhood tales can survive the pressures of modern politics. The fairy tale may have ended, but the debate is far from over.